If you like what you hear, please take time to review us on Apple Podcasts and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Also, if you'd like to be on the podcast, let us know, or if you have someone you would like us to feature, let us know that as well. Yeah, for sure. Okay, welcome to our 10th episode. This is so exciting of Real Time Real Estate with Sandra King,
Casey Lyons,
and today we have
Kevin Oxley from TLC Carpet One.
Woohoo! And it's our 10th episode. This is exciting.
This is exciting. I had no idea I was at a commemorative episode.
That's right, you are. This is special.
Well, I hope I don't screw it up then.
Okay, we hope that every
we're holding you to it.
Like every podcast, we're like, okay, try not to do anything weird to ourselves, not to the guest. Oh my gosh, guess what? The Broncos finally won.
I know, right?
And I missed the game, but they finally won. You'll be happy.
Didn't miss much offense, but the defense put on a show.
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
Dang it! I wish I would have
awesome.
missed it. I like the Titans too. I wish I would have been able to watch it. I don't know what we were doing. We didn't watch it. I've lost the day because today is actually Tuesday and I keep thinking it's Monday, but you'll be happy to know the Huskers lost.
Who are they?
Who are the Huskers?
Just kidding.
She gives me crap every episode about, because the first several episodes we had people from Nebraska or that had a Nebraska background.
Right.
They were Husker fans, except for one. Cody Draper is not a Husker fan, even though he's from Nebraska.
Well, I'm a CSU Ram fan, but they never really do a whole lot, through the college football network. So I guess I can root for the Huskers with you.
All right, good.
As long as they're not playing CSU.
She's going to sink you in for no reason.
Now the Broncos, though, that's what I watch. That's what I watch.
Yeah, we do too. I'm glad they finally won.
Me too.
But I think, isn't it true with like every football coach and football players, they have to kind of get in a groove.
Yeah.
They have to figure out their strengths and weakness. I mean, they can't just walk out the first day of the season and be like killing it, right?
Yeah, expectations are pretty crazy on that kind of stuff. And it's like us in business, how do you expect to hire somebody tomorrow and have them know everything about it, grow the business and change?
Yeah.
So I think 2 weeks into the season or 4 weeks into the season to figure it out, it's pretty damn good, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good.
If I cuss on this, is that bad?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
You just have to put like $100 in the cuss jar.
In the cuss jar?
It's on my desk.
I don't know how much
It's on my
cash I have
desk.
on me.
Yeah, and if it's on your desk, then we'd be like taking a trip on a private cruise ship.
I'll try to avoid F-bombs,
Yeah, that's probably frowned upon.
maybe. My daughter listens to it and tells her second grade class about it. I'm sure that'd be wonderful.
That would be bad. What'd you do this weekend? Anything exciting?
Oh my gosh. Not really, honestly. We did a lot of winterizing because it got so cold.
Yeah.
Went out to our cabin out in the wilderness and
nice.
realized that every single pipe had frozen.
No.
Oh, no.
No,
Already?
we're 2 weeks ahead of when we would typically do it.
my
And we had those 2 nights that were 2 degrees.
Oh, no.
And it was enough, obviously, to do that. So we have no idea what we're going to walk into. But
Oh, man.
No.
we got to do that. Then I got to watch the Broncos win. And
So then that made it better.
that made it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we had homecoming. Nikki got to go to her senior homecoming this year.
Oh, my gosh. Senior?
Senior.
Oh,
She
my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
has her first boyfriend.
Do you secretly drink? I would. When Cody gets that age, I'm just going to be like, great, congratulations.
It's no secret.
Taking your little
Oh.
flask. Yeah, she pulls their flask out of her pocket there.
Oh
my
that was her
gosh,
dad. I hope that's not her.
I can't believe she's a senior.
I know.
Oh, wow.
It's weird to watch, actually.
I bet.
They're still little babies.
Because as a dad, you still see them as little babies
For
in
sure.
your mind. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
So that was actually pretty fun.
That is cool.
Except for, we were up till, 11, 12. She was home at 11.
Are you the type that sit in the chair and wait?
Not quite that bad. I stay awake to make sure that everything's legit, but like I had gotten out of bed when I heard her come home, and I'm like, she's trying to tell me everything about the dance, and I'm like, this is tomorrow's conversation.
I'll tell you at
I'm
breakfast.
checked out.
Exactly.
You have me until 9:30, and then the head goes outside.
Then after that, I get it. But she had a good time.
She did have a really good time, and
Good.
I think she's actually enjoying her senior year and trying to do as much socially as she can too. So
Right. And does
we'll
she have
see.
plans for college, or what does she want?
There are plans for college. We don't have a college or a major or, which is kind of funny. I mean, I don't know that I did either right when I left home.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes it takes just going somewhere to be like, you know what? this is gonna work. This is what I want. You know,
And I
just
think
kind of
that's-
going and getting your basics and spending some time to find yourself.
That's what, even looking for jobs right now in high school, she's like, I haven't found my passion.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that's because you're 18 and you've never had a job. I said, maybe if you start at Come and Go and realize that that's not your passion,
Yeah.
or that is your passion,
Yeah.
then you can figure it out from there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I'm like, you don't have to pick the perfect college. I said, go to CNCC if you want for a little
That's
while.
right,
And
until you
just find-
figure it
yeah.
out. There's
Yeah,
lots of
save some
people that do
money
that.
if you,
Yeah.
or go to CSU, go somewhere. I mean, you don't have to go to school for 8 years to figure it out.
That's true.
I don't think we have the money to go to school for 8
Right,
years, to be quite
right.
honest with you.
That
So
kind of-
at 4, you take over the student loans, but
Yeah.
can I get
yeah.
can I get that blood
Exactly.
right here?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
Nikki,
know.
I don't know what I want to do when I grow up still
Oh,
sometimes.
exactly. I hear you. Yeah. It's just always.
Just figure it out as you go.
Exactly. Exactly. I know we kept waiting for Parker to decide on college, and he kept like, of course, he knew what he wanted to go for. He knew he wanted to play golf, but he had like 3 or 4 colleges that wanted him, and I wanted him to pick the one in Nebraska. And he kept like waiting. And I'm like, make a decision, you know? And he's like, I'll make a decision when I'm ready.
When I'm ready to do it.
Like,
And
Yeah.
okay. You know?
I wish I would have gone to school for golf.
Yeah, right.
Right?
There's a passion.
Yeah. That is a passion for sure.
Not good enough for it to pay the bills quite yet, but maybe next week.
Yeah.
Next season.
try.
Yeah, you can work on it a little bit. Yeah.
But no, they're figuring it out, and it'll take her probably another 20, 30, 40 years to figure it all out.
Oh,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
That's part of the process.
Well,
That
that's
is
just cool too. That she's just not jumping on anything. I think that's pretty cool, actually.
It is
Because
cool.
sometimes you regret it, and then you drop out or party the entire time and don't get anything out of it.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. My first semester might have been a little
Some
bit of a
cases,
waste.
yeah.
It's a little blur. It's coming back to you as you talk about it.
But I had to kick it into high drive, so I commend myself for totally failing that first semester and then picking up the pieces and
There you go.
coming out okay at the end.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What'd you do this weekend?
I worked. We have hunters here, so it was kind of crazy, and we moved cows again.
fun.
So it was just a crazy all over weekend.
How long do you keep moving cats? Because you've been doing that a
They're
lot.
just coming out of the what we call like our summer range, and we're just bumping them down to the winter range, and
Oh, gotcha.
then we'll ship in November.
Very cool.
So
Cool. We were in Junction and enjoyed the weather down there. My mom came down, and so yeah, it's just fun to hang out down there and with Parker and Hannah. And even though they have lives, they went to. They had Josh Abbott was at the warehouse, so they went to see him. And
Oh.
2 weeks ago, they took us with them to the warehouse to see Randy Rogers, which I love the Randy Rogers band. And Oscar had never heard him. He's not really up on like Texas Red Dirt. He's up on like classic country. And he really liked Randy Rogers. He wants to go see him again. So.
I'll be darned. I don't think I know Randy Rogers that well.
Oh yeah, he's
trying to think.
awesome.
gosh, are you serious?
Really?
Oh man, I'm not telling
Well,
Kyle.
the last live. I don't tell Kyle. We're friends right now. I don't know.
Exactly.
After that.
Exactly.
But the last-
You were supposed to teach him hockey, remember?
Well, he needs to show up to the ice rink if he wants to be taught hockey. I can't do it in the cattle fields.
I think there was a lot
over the
of fear in
phone.
that conversation. but-
a little bit. I'm sure he could learn though. He might want some beer before he gets on the ice.
yeah, I'm
It
watching.
eases the pain of, the boards the first couple times.
Yeah. Can he ice skate though? Can Kyle ice
No.
skate? Oh, so you got to start from scratch, Kevin.
Well, that's kind of what I do. I coach
you
the
put
Mites
him in
hockey
your
team. I
PB?
coach the little kids
Yeah.
right now.
Let's just do that. We'll just
If he
bring
just
him-
jumps in with the kids, we'll disguise it so he won't have to pay like the starting fees. He's an
Yeah.
assistant coach that's learning to skate with
with
the
the
team.
cones.
There you go.
Exactly. We actually had to finally get buckets. I have a bunch of
Oh,
TLC
perfect.
Carpet One buckets that people can stand on, and I can stack them like 6 or 7 high for Kyle. So
Awesome. We're
doesn't have to
holding
work
it
his
to
back
him.
too
I
hard.
feel like that should come out in the Kiwanis.
if he comes out, we need to videotape
Yes.
that and then
Yeah.
figure out how to put that
Yes.
in one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should for sure.
But the last concert that I went to at the Grizzly Rose in Junction was Reckless Kelly and Cross Canadian Ragweed.
So good.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah, I would love to see Cross Canadian Ragweed there. I love a lot of their stuff.
We used to follow them around. Obviously, we weren't the groupies. I'm sure there were others
Yeah.
around there, but I've seen them all sorts of different places.
That's awesome.
I was super sad when they disbanded.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's just a yeah. I always go back and listen. Well, I have a bunch of their songs on like Boys from Oklahoma is my absolute
Right.
favorite of theirs. And the only one that I think does it better is Kyle Allgood. And so Kyle's done it when he's been here, and then he played at Parker and Hannah's wedding up in Jackson Hole. So I'm like,
cool.
the one song I want to hear. He's like, yep. So I think we were all dancing out there too, because he does an awesome job. But yeah, Cross Canadian Ragweed, they're awesome.
That's fun. Half of my family's from Oklahoma too, so.
Oh, perfect.
That's awesome. I didn't
So you can
know
beat
that.
up on them a little bit.
Well, yeah,
with
for
that
sure.
song, yeah.
And we all know we do it better in Colorado anyway.
Exactly.
That's right. That's right. For sure. For sure.
They're in the Bible Belt.
Yeah. So you're from Oklahoma? How'd you end up
No,
here?
I'm not from
No, you were
Oklahoma.
born here. Or born in Colorado. How'd you get here?
Well, I was born and raised in Craig. My family, we're all Eastern. My parents were high school sweethearts in Fort Collins.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And actually moved to Meeker first, or my dad did anyway, specifically for the hunting and fishing.
Really?
And so that was back in the 70s, I think, 40 some years ago.
Wow.
And it's funny, we still have a lot of ties over there. My brother lives in Windsor. If I were to ever move anywhere else, it'd probably be that general area, even though it's so big and growing so fast right now that it's
Yeah,
almost
it's crazy.
uncomfortable.
Crazy.
Yeah, we can go off into that. I actually had an opportunity to buy a flooring store in Loveland when the economy here was really bad.
Yeah.
That I considered pretty strongly, but the way of life would have changed drastically.
Right.
And that's you're married to a business as it is, but that's a 7 days a week.
Yeah, and then to have it so far apart in different.
Yep, and your entire life
towns.
is based on that.
Yeah.
There's no, for me, there wouldn't have been any coaching hockey, and
Yep.
Yeah.
and I think that's priceless. So
It is.
I'm here. I'm in it for the long haul now.
Cool. Cool. And you went to college at CSU with Kyle and those
With
guys.
Kyle and those guys, and actually there were several. I actually feel a little bit bad. I missed probably a little bit of the college experience because so many people from here and so many close friends, and they're still some of my best friends, were all there with me. So it was easy to not have to branch out.
Yep.
Right.
But also cool too, because we all did branch out to some degree to where your circle of friends and network became
Yeah, exactly. And now
pretty
you
big,
come-
pretty fast.
Right. And look at how many of you are self-employed.
Right?
That is really amazing too.
It's cool.
There's
Yeah.
that. I'm trying to think. There's quite a few of us that came back.
Yeah.
I was not expected to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, they thought that I was gone for good.
But you
I
were.
thought that I was gone for good.
I think you are, and then you go learn what you didn't appreciate,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I miss home.
Exactly.
I miss that tie.
And that was actually my moment. I remember we were trying to clean up and fix up our rental house, and it wasn't any big deal, but I think the door had been like thrown off its hinges or something. But anyway, I ended up like one screw short for this project, and it was right in the middle of school was getting out. It was school season. I ended up having to drive from one side of Fort Collins to the Home Depot on the Clear Far corner, and it took me like 3 or 4 hours
Oh my gosh.
to get this one screw dealt with. And I was like, I don't know how people deal with this bullshit.
Yeah.
But that was like, okay, I have a successful business back
Reality
home.
check. Yeah.
Reality check. And that was actually, the moment that I kind of decided that I was done with city life.
Yep.
And people are like, Fort Collins, city life? I'm like,
Yes.
you should come from Craig.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Denver is like, I don't even know what to
I
say
don't even
about
want to
that
touch
place.
it.
Oh, it's horrible. So it was sort of always assumed or whatever that you would come back and work with your dad and take over.
To a degree, I flip-flopped a lot for the first part. I actually started out at the Air Force Academy.
I didn't know that.
I got accepted into the Air Force Academy and spent 2 weeks there before I realized that was not the life that I wanted to lead.
Mom, can you come to me?
God, a splash of water on your face at 4 o'clock in the morning from a kid who's literally like 1 year older than you, and out in the hallway doing push-ups in my underwear. And I mean, I kind of get the why now better than I did then.
Yeah.
I think there's other ways to train the same stuff. But I just hit a point where I was like, my mouth is going to get in my way.
This is not
If
my,
I had maybe
this is not
2
my
more
route.
years to grow up, I could have probably succeeded in that.
Right.
But it was not my route, yeah. So I promptly decided to switch gears and go to CSU And I went from the Air Force Academy, which was extremely strict, to that first semester that I talked about, which I almost showed up to class a couple of times.
Good job.
Almost.
Yeah.
So they do let you out of the
D's
Air
get
Force.
degrees.
Yeah.
But they do let you out, yeah.
I figured like once you get in, you're stuck there, so you could bail.
Well, it was you can bail. I think there's a period of time. I don't know if it was just that 2-week period that you had that time to make a choice, that orientation. But gosh, I would have had a hard time there.
Yeah.
Very regimented.
But at least
it's
you
an
don't-
awesome education.
Sure.
My big thing that I tell my kids and my friend, like we talk about, you don't have that what if.
Right.
You tried it, not yours, move on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I said, and that first year is tough, and that's when everybody's kind of on you. I think it was the difference in ages that I'm like, seriously? I was born in September and you're 3 months older than me, and kind of making a fool of me whenever you get the opportunity.
I see.
You know, it's a little bit degrading, and
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, you have to face the eagle on your plate, facing north all the time when you're eating lunch. Seven chews per bite. I mean, no more, no less. And you have
Oh,
a drill sergeant
seriously?
literally watching you the entire time, accusing you or actually judging your eating habits.
Oh wow.
Send in Kyle.
Yeah.
Parker wouldn't make it. He's
Oh,
like 3
man.
bites.
I
and-
would say Kyle just
I wouldn't make it.
Oh my god.
I just like half the time just chomp and.
That's
Yeah.
my family. They eat so slow. We savor our food. I'm like, you should have gone to the Air Force Academy for a little while because we didn't have 3 hours to eat dinner. Like, we've got books to read. Let's go, people. Like, you can savor it later.
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. So you run it used to be Rocky Mountain TLC. Now it's TLC Carpet One, right?
Yep, we converted to, and that's an interesting story about actually that Carpet One is actually a co-op. People have thought it was a franchise that we bought into, and
I actually thought that. So it's a co-op.
it's a co-op. And I mean, it has some franchise aspects, and we could go into all the different business types, but it's independently owned. My dad and I have owned it forever. Dad's 41 years now. But he actually did that back in 2004, kind of seeing the box stores and things like that coming into presence. And in a small town in particular, as an independent dealer, it's really hard to stay competitive
Yeah.
sometimes. So that was kind of our way of trying to hedge that bet.
Gotcha.
Plus, it gave us a level of professionalism, training opportunities, networking
That's awesome.
that changed the entire dynamic. I mean, I wish I had a picture of our showroom back then before we converted to Carpet One. And
Just a big difference.
it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And, you know, part of it is hard because they do kind of shove different vendors and things, I wouldn't say down your throat. We do have the option to throw out those displays, but it's part of the organization. And the more we're involved with the suppliers that are involved with the co-op, the better everyone does in it. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I've enjoyed it. I have a ton of really good close friends. I go to conventions a couple times a year, and I have a ton of, like, we do a lot of large projects, say, and I can't get enough tile setters to do the new Meeker High School. So I can go to my group and say, hey, guys in Wyoming, do you have tile setters in February that I can bring up here?
Oh, wow.
To try to accomplish some of that. And with the economy booming like it had been,
Yeah.
it was hard to even get bigger
Damn.
stores to bring it down. But times like these, I'm pretty confident to bid these bigger projects and think that I will be able to
Fine.
Grab
get a proven
someone.
workforce.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. Kind of going a little bit blind. The Meeker High School does have me staying up late at night sometimes.
Yeah. Just a little stressed about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always tile setters too.
Yeah.
If
How
Kyle
many
doesn't want to play
ti-
hockey, he can come play tile.
Perfect.
How many tile setters do you have on that job?
Well, right now I've got 2 full-time tile setters and then another 2 that are kind of like David Brookshire. He's
Yeah.
a great tile setter, but he also does a bunch of general
Right.
contracting type stuff.
Right.
Dan Brown's very similar. So through the summer, I've kept all 4 of those guys going. But
That's awesome.
the schedules that they're proposing the 4 guys could get it done, but I think I'm going to need about double or triple that to get it done in a month and a half. you know.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or
So
they're
it's
gonna have to change
hallways
their
and classrooms
expectations.
and everything's.
Yeah, I mean they're more. Tile's kind of like that forever floor. It's expensive, particularly the labor right now to get it done, but you never have to do it twice.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
the only
done.
reason you're changing tile out is because your style changes.
Yeah, trends or whatever.
Exactly, because you're never going to walk through it. It's inherently waterproof.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah. But it's also the hardest to find. It's the longest process to get done.
Yep.
You know,
Right.
we could
Time consuming.
put the waterproof vinyl planking in your bathroom
Right.
in a half a day,
Right.
and it's a 3-day process to put tile in there.
Oh, man, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
setting, sitting, grouting, sitting, polishing.
Wait.
Exactly.
Wait.
It's a lot of wait time. So that just drives the price up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love tile. I think you can get more creative with tile than anything else. I've found some different tools that you can, almost like an embroidery shop. If you've ever seen, or let's see, like a bandsaw with wood, you can actually take it and it's almost like sewing, and you can create these small, really detailed patterns.
Right.
And when I was doing my house, actually,
Yes, I was just going
Yep,
to bring that
yep.
up as you did that wave stuff.
my wife picked out these crazy mosaics and things, and I don't know if I'd ever do it for somebody else, but
I was just gonna say you should send some pictures.
I would. There would be a price associated with that. But yeah, so I carved these mountainscapes and everything back into the tile and fit all the mosaics back in, and it's a super custom job, but
That's really
I mean
cool.
hours upon hours of my time. I think my tile setters could probably do it faster than I could at this point in time. But
Yeah. That is kind of, I notice a lot of people are doing like mountain scenes
Yeah.
out of tile and stuff like that.
And I hear that's super popular, and I get why.
There was a house in Junction that was for sale last year, was on the market, and their backsplash, they had this just regular tile, but they'd cut like a mountain scene in it, and it was really neat for the edges to be this. And then they'd put in like sky colored tile that, of course, then they have to back cut, I suppose, to make it all fit together like puzzle pieces. And it just was really neat.
Well, and I think if I could get out of that, that's one of my like long-term, looking at partnerships like you guys have been and things like that. But Rodney and Renata Beeson have their tile engraving machine, and
Yeah.
there's people that have laser cutters out there that we could get slabs of granite and cut in these mountainscapes,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
That's a great idea.
I think it would get a lot bigger if we had more new home construction coming, working on it.
Yep.
You guys are too.
Yep, we are. Yep.
I'd love
Little
to see
sneak
that.
peek of things to come. We'll
Right,
talk about on the
right.
podcast later.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to that then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of opportunities in that too, and it just creates beautiful, beautiful spaces.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, going back a little bit to when engineering was kind of my main focus.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's aeronautical engineering at the Air Force Academy, and then I was thinking about civil engineering when I was at CSU to begin with, and started looking at what I kind of really do enjoy. And you can change so much, so dramatically with floor covering and interior stuff that to see that finished product is,
Awesome.
to me, kind of the
So
spice of
rewarding.
life. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't
And
get
it's
to
like
see
an
those all the
artwork.
time. It is. It's an artwork.
Yeah.
And I'm the best stick figure drawer, but
Good.
you won't ever see me do more because I'm just. And I remember talking to my wife, going, I don't feel like I have an artistic bone in my body. And she goes, "Look at the showers you've created."
Yeah,
And look at
exactly.
the-"
You do.
I'm like, okay, that made me feel better about myself. I'm like, okay, I can express it in a different way. And
You
Yeah.
can, and you know what colors of carpet go good with
Yeah.
paint colors and stuff
Exactly.
like that. You've always got good
And,
opinions on
I mean, I'm
that.
still a guy, so I'm not sure if it always meshes, but I've done it for long enough now.
But
And
you can call if someone called you and said, "Hey, come look at my house," and they picked out a carpet color. You're
Yeah.
gonna be like, "This is gonna look terrible,"
Yeah.
or "Hey, let's put tile here and carpet here," And
Yeah.
that's one thing a lot of people appreciate about you.
I don't think you'll enjoy the pea green in your master bedroom forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd make a different choice if it were me, but
What about
right.
these?
That's right.
no, actually, that's one of the things I kind of pride myself on, especially being a male in the industry, is the ability to put things like that together. And
That's a good accomplishment.
it is, but that's the fun part of what we do.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you touched a little bit on your house. You did a remodeled, complete gut job remodel of one of the nicer older homes up on Sandrock, and it hadn't been touched, and since the original owner built it.
Yep, 1974, Dr. Monahan. And
Oh, wow.
I never got to meet Dr. Monahan. I think he was a pretty well-respected guy, but
He was, yeah.
I've never seen that. His wife put carpet everywhere. Like, I walked into that house and thought that somebody must have cat scratch fever, because
I remember
it's
the
wrapped.
basement.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Wrapped on the walls and over the
Yes.
steps. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
it was
And the
crazy.
bathrooms, they had like the same vinyl flooring up every wall. Like, the entire room was encased in
Yeah.
this avocado green
Yeah.
and harvest gold. I mean, it was like the perfect 70s home. Her style was like
Yeah, on point.
on point. It just really needed some
Help.
help, when we bought it in 2014, or I think it was 2014 that we bought it.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so between that one, remodeling that one, and then the old abandoned meth house that, we started
Yes.
with.
Yes, that's right.
And then, I think I was the third person to try to burn it down, and I kind of got the job done finally.
you succeeded,
Yeah,
yeah.
I succeeded. I don't recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It worked out in the end.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
was about a 2-year process to get everything put back together. And
Wow.
so, yeah, the first 5 years or 6 years that I was home from college, buy a house, remodel a house, burn a house down, buy a house, remodel a house. Now I need to build a deck. So
Yeah. You got it.
home ownership is a never-ending process.
That's
but-
right, but it's a
Grow
fun
up,
and
they
rewarding
say.
Well,
process.
and the other thing, I mean, I've had a lot of equity in these homes, and that's kind of
Yes.
been our financial
Yeah.
start, and given us the opportunity to do a lot of things that people that I don't think have ownership in property don't do.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I don't know what you see. I'm kind of flipping topics here, but there's been such a movement with the younger population that I've read about just renting and not buying, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I cannot figure out the
doesn't.
financial
Yep.
gain from doing that.
No, we try to get that across to people too. Of course, we do property management, but
Yeah.
we also try to explain to them, you're working for yourself when you own the home instead of for that homeowner to be, building up his retirement portfolio, so to speak.
Exactly.
So it's the same amount of money, especially with our rental market here.
it's
It's the same
crazy
amount of money
nuts.
to buy your own home. And there's so many programs out there available for first-time home buyers. Get into your own home, make it your own. Choose your own carpet, your own tile, your own paint color.
Exactly.
Whatever.
And I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that.
Commitment.
I have rental property.
Commitment.
It is commitment. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I have rental properties too. And I mean, they've been, well, I wouldn't say great, but the cockroaches and bedbug problem was not a fun problem. But
Oh, we had some of that this summer too, in some of our rentals. Yeah.
they're not even supposed to be able to survive in Craig, Colorado.
No, they're not. But they
We
managed
even kill
to.
cockroaches
feed
at
'em.
Craig.
If you feed them, they will come.
Oh, yes, they will. Yes, they will. I've been rained on by cockroaches. That was
Oh, don't even. Yeah.
we don't
what's
need to
your
talk about
worst?
that. We
What's
can-
your worst story?
that.
Let's hear it.
Okay, that was my worst story. Well, I have two. From an installation perspective, I was probably 14 or 15, and I'm not going to disclose
No.
much about it, but me and the gentleman I was installing with walked into a house and didn't really know what was coming, but there was some feces on walls and the smell was awful, just awful. And that was the first time in my life, come to find out that the people were a little bit mentally disabled, and we were doing the
Gotcha.
job for Habitat for Humanity or something like
right,
that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Loving, something to that degree, I can't remember. But I actually had to wear a mask with Vicks vapor rub over my nose. And the client was like, "Why are you wearing these masks?" And I'm trying to, on my feet, think of, not completely rude or insulting
Right.
ways to,
Just say,
we're trying to keep the dust out of our noses and do that. This is the only way I can breathe in here.
oh my
So
gosh.
if you want new floors, but that was an ugly one. That was one that I'll never forget. And then for me, that rental house, I had a couple walk in and said that they needed to get my property back because the bugs had gotten so bad that they were biting. And I'm sure you guys, I'm
Yeah.
like, that's something
Yeah.
I probably could have dealt with knowing about it
Yeah,
2 years ago.
exactly.
But that was when my hands-off approach to real estate became a lot more hands-on too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had my installers, my carpet guys. I'm like, why don't you go over? So they moved out, go tear out the carpet. And Greg Merrick at the time called me up, and first time ever, he goes, "I'm not doing the job." He goes, "I'm not doing it." And I went, "Seriously?"
Yeah.
He goes, "You walk in there." And I walked in, and literally cockroaches were raining down on you, and the carpet looked like it was moving. I ended up buying one of those painter suits. I looked like a hazmat guy, fully taped off, tube socks
With
over
the
my...
red sign out front.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I wish my wife had pictures
Coming
of me, because
soon.
I'm sure I looked awesome. In my duct tape painter
to
suit
pop
with
you
tube
up.
socks up halfway to my knees. Yeah, but I tore out all that stuff and got rid of it. And if I hadn't have... I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but if I hadn't have had a fire, but to begin with, the light a match conversation at that point would have been a real conversation to have.
Yeah. We just had that conversation with one of our owners.
Yeah.
The same thing was just terrible cockroaches. And because it ended up being an eviction, when we had to put all their stuff, and I say we, Casey and I didn't, we called someone, and he put all the stuff out on the curb, and that spread the cockroaches. And our cockroach guy said, if you could have had us go in first, which in this instance we couldn't because of the law. So, but that would have been ideal. And so I told my owner, I'm thinking a match, and he goes, it's insured, because we literally had to gut everything out of it, including the cabinets, the toilets, everything. And then they have to do a pretty heavy duty treatment. They are all completely dead, but they have to, because of the bacteria and stuff, everything has to be kills, painted, bleach, concentration, clean, this whole...
Had to do the air ducts, I'm sure, and get those all cleaned out. And
it's going to be months before that property is rentable.
That's what it was, about an 8-week process. And
you're that person at the movie theater.
Yeah. Everybody says silent your phone, and then Kevin's rings. Yeah.
I am always that guy too.
Do you need to take that call?
No, I don't need to take the call. I'm just trying to
Or send a text. Or
get into my settings to make it silent.
Check your email.
So no one can make fun of me anymore.
Commercial break.
Okay.
iPhone or Android?
Android. I can't buy into the iPhone craze. Maybe if I did, I'd probably be all the way in.
Okay, I just did the update today, and
all these young kids now these days with their iPhones.
I had the first iPhone ever, so that's been like, I don't know, 10,
did you do
15
the new
years.
update? And
No,
you
I'm
can
scared
do
to.
No, it's awesome. And you can do emojis that look like you. So all my emojis look like me.
I can do that on my Android too.
So that's been a thing for a while.
Okay, so maybe I'm behind an update.
Maybe.
It might not be as cool as the iPhone.
Yeah,
but
I don't use the, we're totally off topic here, but I don't use the one that looks like me. I use the lion, because get it, king, lion. Yeah, and I sent you the lion one for your birthday. It was Casey's birthday on Sunday. So I sang to her and had the lion roar and everything. And the lion is just so sassy. So it just, I think it's my personality more than myself would.
The sassy singing Sandra lion.
Yes, exactly.
You need to forward that to me.
I got it. It's
We
pretty
can do
good.
a duet for our next radio ad
Okay,
too.
yeah.
There we go.
All right, let's do it.
I get nervous for a podcast, but I'll go sing on the radio.
Or whatever. You're Kiwanis, like we were talking earlier. You'll dress in a dress. You'll sing at Kiwanis. You'll do it all.
I don't think I want to tell all those stories here at this point in time, but
Well, and
Kiwanis.
it's secret, right? Oh, it's what? You were going to tell a secret?
No, I'm not going to tell any of the
I
secrets.
thought you were going to say once.
But we get a lot done for what we do.
Yes.
But, yeah, I've had my moments. We've all had our moments in Kiwanis. Kyle's never had any moments.
Oh, whatever.
And our wives are always so happy with us.
Yes.
We just keep telling ourselves we're like 12 to 16,000 in scholarships.
It's
That's
good.
right. That's right. Parker got a scholarship from Kiwanis.
Yep.
His
And
first year.
I'm hoping that Nikki
So-
applies, or she better
She
apply
better.
for one of those scholarships.
Yeah.
So it's for a good cause, but we have a lot of fun doing it.
That's right. It is a good cause, and we do appreciate all you do and what you guys do for Kiwanis weekend. That's always a blast.
Right.
We always love it.
And we're known for the play and for dressing in drag and for the crazy stuff, but there's a lot of other
Behind the scenes.
behind the scenes stuff too.
Yeah.
Yep. And I haven't been as involved in some of that just at this stage in my life with
It's hard. And
high school
timing
kids and then elementary school kids and business,
Right.
etc. It's hard to get away, but it's really a pretty respectable group, and
Oh, yeah.
It is.
I haven't heard it as much anymore. I've heard some negative comments about Kiwanis in the past.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're out to party. That's just an excuse for them to party. And
That's what they say about the Shriners too.
Right.
Just take it in stride.
Right.
That's what my husband does.
just a men's group, and no, it's
way much more.
It's way more than that.
It is.
So I'm proud to be a Kiwanian, and we'll stick to that, even though I don't party quite like I used to.
Yeah.
Still have it in me every once in a while.
There you go. Yeah, gosh, because we were talking earlier, your kids are, your oldest is a senior. And
No, the oldest is in Junction now. She's working.
Gosh, Nikki is middle.
Nikki is middle
Oh
child.
my gosh, yeah.
So
wow,
Katie's,
I missed time a bunch there.
that's what we just looked back, and I mean, Chris and I have been together for 12 years now, which, is a third of my life. It doesn't seem that much when you look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a long time. And,
it is.
And to see kids go from, and now getting to do it twice, go from, preschool, elementary school all the way.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at Nikki as she's going to homecoming being like, shit, you're not my baby anymore.
Yeah.
I said you always be your babies to some degree. But,
yeah, but exactly what you mean.
But
it changes.
beautiful, smart adults now.
That's awesome.
So that part's kind of rewarding. Well, there was about a 4-year period where I would be happy to trade you. High school girls were a whole new adventure for me. I was born and raised with boys. I mean, my poor mom, I get her. But looking at this many girls at one time too, it's like, my mom had 6 sisters. I'm like, that household must have been...
Oh, wow. Mayhem. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not signing up for that.
No.
Yeah.
Three's enough. I'm done.
I was good with one.
Yeah. Well, one probably could be enough too. Don't tell my other 2 kids that. But.
Yeah, exactly. Let them each think they're the only
one.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what train we were on there. We just kind of...
I know, we just kind of went off, but that's okay. That was the last podcast too. We just kind of, it just goes with the flow,
whatever tangent you're going down to. And
We'd like to give a big shout out to E&L Signs for being our sponsor of this podcast. E&L Signs serves Western Colorado and Eastern Utah for all your screen printing and vehicle lettering needs. With over 30 years experience, Ed and Lauren will get it done for you. So remember, E&L Signs. So what kind of trends, we'll jump back on flooring, what kind of trends do you see changing over the years, or have you seen changing over the years?
Well, we can always tell what the trends in Craig will be by looking at what the East Coast trends are 7 years ago.
Okay, good to know.
Honestly, I mean, it's a little bit of sarcasm there, but there's a lot of truth. I mean, the grays and stuff are just now hitting Colorado in general. I mean,
it is Colorado in general,
which is huge. I mean, my house is very modern, put together, which is kind of a rarity. It's always been so rustic and so farmhouse, and that has its charm too. But it's fun for me to start going to the modern trends. But now I'm looking at these. I just went to this big conference for cabinetry in Sioux Falls for Star Mark Cabinetry, a company we work with. And the coastal towns, I mean, they're starting to come out with these really, it's interesting to me. I'm having a hard time buying into it yet, but it's like these seafoam green touches and these very drastic, like white shaker cabinets with that seafoam green or really light baby type blue. And I've seen some really beautiful pictures and spaces created with it. I have a hard time imagining that in my own home at this point in time. Steamboat tends to be a little bit more, but they have so many second homes from people from the
East Coast,
and West Coast moving in there. That's a whole different ball game. But as far as trends go, that's kind of the color side of things. Waterproof flooring, LVT, luxury vinyl tile. That's still the biggest rage. A lot of things have happened though that I'm starting to think. My dad's theory on this actually is that, waterproof is huge, but now they're creating laminate floors. If you guys remember the old Pergo, that was used forever, ended up getting commoditized because it became so mainstream, and it was basically a fight towards the price point bottom. And what happens with that is the product gets cheaper, everything gets cheaper, and it got a pretty bad rap there for a while. Well, now the same thing's happening with the LVT. And it's also, a lot of it's produced in China, so now the tariffs that have been imposed have driven a lot of those prices up. So
So Trump listens to the podcast, so we need to tell him.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
pull your
I'm not
tips
sure.
there. Yeah.
What I've seen from that side of it is they haven't moved the industry to America. They've actually moved it to the Koreas. So they've dodged the tariffs.
Okay.
But building in America is still so expensive to build these facilities to produce that they haven't done it. I mean, there's stuff in the works. I think the ultimate goal is still
To get it here.
to get it here.
Yeah, that's what we need. Made in America.
But right now we're dealing with, all these waterproof floors, and they've gone up probably 35% in the past
Wow.
2 years.
That's a lot.
Oh, it's a ton.
When you're running numbers on a brand new house or
Exactly.
something,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Or
But then-
flip project or whatever.
Yeah.
But then they always need something at that price point, so then it gets dumbed down some more, and you can't see it, but you can feel it. It's durability issues. It's, that's the big box stores, the Home Depots, on their low-end products. It's not as well of a made product as what most of us deal with. But what I see happening is that the same thing will happen. I think laminate is actually going to come back in its waterproof form.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a more rigid floor. They haven't figured out a way on the surface of the vinyl products yet to create the same level of scratch resistance
Okay.
as what they got in laminate. So I think eventually that'll take the market back over, and you can actually get more realism like a true hardwood floor with laminate than what you can LVT too. I mean, we're probably 5 years, 10 years away from that happening if it happens. But
So you're telling me my house was built in the 80s. If I just hold strong, my laminate might come back? Is that what you're telling me?
well, Casey, I'm not sure what to say about that.
Still tight.
Well, I had my house from the 70s, so it's, if you like the look of that, currently.
Yeah, there you go.
I did hear avocado green is kind of coming back, so.
Oh my gosh, I
Really?
haven't seen that.
Oh, wow.
I haven't seen it much either, but I just threw one away 3 years ago, and I don't need
Yeah.
to go there again.
No.
Yeah, no. No, not at all.
But then in flooring too, there's always the flip-flop between hard surface and soft surface,
And I like the squishy carpet. The
Right.
really squishy, yeah.
Well, and I don't know if it's just Craig. Well, I can tell you nationally that carpet went from being about 80% of the flooring market and edging closer to 50. So we're at about 60% carpet, 40% hard surface, which is a pretty drastic change. But it gets so cold here. We have different lifestyles, and I think
Right.
carpet's always a little bit bigger here. I mean, my wife and I argued about what to do in our living room, and I actually wanted hardwood, and that throughout. There's some, cleanliness things that hard surfaces offer too, but
Right.
she talked me into carpet. We had a 2-year-old at the time, and I'm so glad we did, because not only that, but hardwood stairs, they're beautiful, but they're slippery.
Right,
Yeah.
And
right.
the last thing you need is your, little baby crawling off the edge. And
Sliding
Yeah.
out.
yeah, babies bounce, but they bounce a lot
Yeah.
better on carpet than
They
they
do bounce better on
hardwood or
carpet,
tile.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I don't want to I love hardwood and I want that
Yeah.
on my stairs, but I always worry about Gunner, my miniature schnauzer, who's up and down the stairs as fast as he can go. And I'm like, if he slips or, something, gosh, that'd be terrible.
Exactly, and that's something I always warn people about. I mean, hardwood stairs will last forever, and they're gorgeous. They really are. They're not inexpensive to put in, and they're also not particularly family friendly.
Right.
So,
Or even weather friendly for us. Like if you have
Exactly.
ice or snow on your shoes, if you don't take them off at the door, if you just run in really quick to grab something, run back down, you could potentially end up in a heap at the bottom.
exactly, and it's kind of funny you said that too, because hardwood, it's been huge everywhere, and it's still big in our area too. Steamboat and Craig do a lot of it, but between our climate and the huge temperature swings and ski boots and mud, and every season offers its own challenge. That
Right.
this is not the salesman in me, but hardwood is really not the best floor
Right.
in Western Colorado. It's a lot higher maintenance, and you can get so many of these visuals with some of these other products that perform so much better where we are.
Right.
Yep.
Like the luxury. Now, when you say LVT,
Yeah.
I call it LVP, but it's the same thing.
Correct.
Luxury vinyl plank,
Luxury vinyl tile is actually the overarching product
Okay.
category,
Okay.
and they do have tile looks and whatnot in that too. But LVP, luxury vinyl planking, is used more and more often. You know, we don't do a whole lot of the tile look vinyl products. I mean, just because wood is such a popular look.
Right. Right.
And that plank style floor.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and as you know, we haven't done a ton of new homes here, but the ones that we have done, and I agree that it'll change, will most likely be, you know, primarily those waterproof vinyl floors.
Yeah.
Well, and you
Unless
did-
our philosophy comes through and that those laminate floors take back over. But
Right. Right. Well, the clients I have for the flip house up on Alta Vista, you did
Oh,
that
yeah.
one that was luxury vinyl.
And it's funny because that was, I think you were actually involved in that to a degree too, trying to talk her out of a hardwood floor,
Yeah.
both from a cost perspective and
Yeah.
a flip property,
Yeah.
and like we just talked about, that performance perspective. It's,
Yeah.
and as you know, I think that house came out beautiful.
It is beautiful, and every time it's shown, people love the floors.
And I mean, you know, even laminate, vinyl planking, they're not the same products. They're not the, people think vinyl and, you know, that high gloss, black and white, curled seams. It's not like that. I mean,
No,
they're
it's not.
truly,
It's really,
yeah,
really
high
nice.
definition printouts of hardwood. You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
it's not 100% natural. Like
Right.
every board's not gonna, you could have repeats there,
Right.
but if you can get past that part of it, there's not a lot of downside.
Right. Right. And then what's the difference with padding? Everybody tells me that for padding, because I always want squishy carpet,
Right.
and that padding is the driving factor for the squishy carpet. You get a really good padding, and then the carpet doesn't have to be as
Durable to,
yeah.
and what the density of the carpet cushion is the number one thing. So there's a fine line. You like that cushy feel, but when it bottoms out on you, it's when it bottoms out and hits your subfloor, and your heel is impacting that, you know, day after day. That's going to wear your carpet out way faster.
Faster.
Yeah, than
Think about that.
that support, creating that support. So that's another thing that, just a shout out to our business. You know, they have very low level cushions, and it's all poundage, you know, so they have down to like 2 pound pad.
Okay, you have to stop hitting your hand on the couch. You can talk with your hand, but you can't. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
I just
Yeah.
can't make noise with them.
That's right.
Okay.
It's hard.
For a second. Exactly. But, you know, we always use the 2 top end pads. It's just not even worth our time at this point
Isn't
to go.
there a pet pad too?
Yeah, there's moisture barriers
Yeah.
on the top of it because it's funny. I don't know how common knowledge some of this stuff is, and I don't do a lot of the selling in my store anymore to deal with it. But most stains, most pet smells end up absorbed into the carpet cushion.
Yeah.
And even after you get it cleaned, you know, have Great Divide or whatever company come in there to deal with it, they will never get it out of the cushion itself. And so that barrier, that pet pad, is
So
literally
that's
just
important.
a moisture stop. Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what, even in rentals now, I've started using.
Yeah, just was thinking that.
Yep.
Do you do that on the rentals we manage?
Yep.
Okay, good.
We do.
Okay.
So all of those, you know, eventually it'll still get underneath the carpet. I mean, rentals are hard because you never know how good of care people are taking. But
Right.
in
It's
theory,
gonna help.
if you catch that water spot, you can absorb all of the moisture back out between the cushion and that pad, or in the
Gotcha.
carpet backing.
Right.
So that's kind of a big deal. Cushions can also determine, you know, in-floor heat's becoming so much more popular.
It is.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, and
And not every product is rated for in-floor, right? So
Correct.
you really
I mean,
have to.
they'll all work to some degree, but R values, I mean, I'm sure you guys are familiar with R values. You actually want the lowest R value possible with an in-floor heat job, and rubber sponge cushions allow that heat transfer to where you're not, I mean, if you're blocking all that heat from going up, it's just
You're wasting
driving up the
money.
cost, you're
Yeah.
wasting money.
Yeah.
It's totally inefficient.
Yeah.
And I've seen it bad enough too to where it can actually get so hot between those 2 layers that it creates wrinkles in the carpet and things like that.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just on that, it's important when someone is building a house to check in with you in the
for
very
sure.
beginning stages, because you know you're going to have to know when pricing stuff out.
Exactly.
Are we doing in-floor heat? What are we
Right.
doing?
Right.
You know.
Those rubber cushions tend to be a little bit more expensive, but just to kind of go back to the cushion being the foundation of your floor, of the carpet, you know, I'm going to talk in square feet here instead of yardage because that's how we sell it. But
Oh, good.
but you know, you're talking
Thanks for clearing that up.
15 or 20 cent a square foot difference to put in the best pad versus, you know, a very mediocre. So usually it's about $200 in an entire house to put an upgraded cushion in.
Yeah, and that's well worth it when
It's
you're
well
spending
worth
thousands.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in a new home when,
Yeah.
you know, I think our end of new homes, and that would be including cabinets and things that we do, is about 10% of the overall cost. Then what's that 0.1% of your flooring bill, or your interior bill to upgrade that?
Right.
Because you are right. That cushion really does make a huge difference.
It does, yeah. And because of the cost, you also offer financing.
We do.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're trying to do more and more of. You know, you guys know, and we haven't done a whole lot of it, haven't marketed it a ton, but we've been doing some more construction type things, minor stuff. I mean, things that don't require licensing and permits, which you can get away with interior for a lot of things. But to be able to finance that for 12 months, 18 months,
Right.
36 months, it's a pretty big deal. And you know, some people look poorly, especially after the banking crisis and things on financing. But to me, if you can get stuff at a 0% rate, I don't know why you're not financing everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just build your
Even if
credit.
you have your
Yeah.
money in investments, leave it sitting there and use somebody else's for cheaper.
Exactly, because that gives you the opportunity to take that
Right.
money, and for me, it's investment property or
Right.
whatever it may
Exactly.
be. Cash today is way better to me than cash tomorrow is going to be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly.
So I don't think we do as good of a job selling it as we probably could do, or offering it, advertising for it.
Right.
But, you know, yeah, please, we offer financing. It's a great way to, you know, take a $3,600 average job and
Spread it out and get it done, because that's the
Yeah.
thing too. I feel like you get into a house and then you're like, oh, we're gonna do flooring, and you try to save and you try to save, and then oh, the kid got sick, so you got to use the money there. You know,
Yeah.
it just
Exactly.
and then it never happens.
Yeah,
So
that's
you-
true.
So you look at, is it a check for $3,600 or is it a monthly payment for $200?
Yeah.
And
That's easier to swallow.
it's way easier to swallow and it's 0%. So there's really no reason against
Yeah.
it. Plus you build your credit.
Yep.
That's right. That's right. And then so besides carpet and flooring, other flooring, you also do cabinets and countertops and
Cabinets, countertops, the interior remodeling, window coverings. Big Hunter Douglas fabrication store, and that's kind of my additions to the business. When you're born and raised in floor covering, I'm never going to tell you it's boring because there's something new every day.
right.
But I kind of have job ADD and need to keep coming up with new, fresh things.
Well,
to,
that's just growing too.
and it is, and it's
Exactly,
growing,
yeah.
and you know, we're trying to find different places where Craig doesn't have a lot of offerings in,
Right.
and
that is something we are lax on.
it is,
Yeah.
and not that we have some really good custom cabinet makers around here.
Absolutely. Mhm.
It's a different product than what we deal with,
Mm-hmm.
and a different, you know, customer too, different client. But there's a lot of liability to cabinetry too.
Right.
And it's taken me several years now, mostly doing stuff for myself,
To figure it out.
to figure it out and get through those growing pains. And there's been some financial pain with that too. When I'm writing the check and it's not somebody else's problem, you know, I
Yeah.
can swallow that a lot better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love cabinets. That's actually my new favorite thing.
Oh, okay.
Do you have some of those in your showroom for
I do,
people to come
yeah.
look at?
It took us 2 years. We had to sign up for 2 years saying that, you know, cabinet display is soon to come.
Oh, okay.
But for about 1 year now, we've got it. And, you know,
And is that upstairs or?
it's actually downstairs
Oh, okay.
in our tile room
Yeah.
off to the side. That's kind of
Okay.
where we have our kitchens and countertops.
Okay.
And long story short, you know my showroom well enough that I want to bring all of my flooring upstairs and take everything non-flooring
Downstairs.
and put that downstairs to section it off that way.
Yep.
And I'd love to dedicate more space to it, but it's hard, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's so easy now. I do it with my hairstylist. I'm like, hey, look what I found on Pinterest.
Right.
So I'm sure you get that all the time. Hey, make this kitchen like this.
It is, and it's so funny because they're like, you probably get this all the time and you hate it. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you for coming in with a vision.
Yeah, because I can go off of it.
Yes, if anyone's listening, please, go look at pictures, find something that you like, and then when you come in.
If anyone's listening, people are listening.
Well, I know people are listening. If anybody in the flooring market, cabinet market is listening, I hope you are. I know you are.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But yeah,
Subscribe to our channel so you can
subscribe
listen
to
all
our
the time.
channel. But the more pictures, the more information, it just makes our job easier.
Yeah, for sure.
And it
Because
helps
then
you
you
to
know
your
what they have in their mind.
Exactly.
Somebody just says, I'm thinking of this thing, and you're like, oh gosh, okay. I'm probably thinking of something different.
Exactly. You're looking to do a shower. That is amazing.
Yeah.
How do you want to start that process?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to look at tile for the shower? I don't know.
Okay.
Like, okay, well, cool.
Carpet. Carpet it is.
Let's go talk about carpet for a little while and move on to something different.
Shower.
But that's actually the other thing with, talk about carpet. I mean, cabinets, floor covering, window coverings, they all go hand in hand so well.
Right.
And they're all such a huge part of that decision-making process.
All together.
Yeah.
Yep. When remodeling or building or anything else, that it just made sense for us to do it.
Yep.
Plus having the labor force to
Do
and
it.
the knowledge in that side of it made it a lot easier transition than what it could be.
Yeah. And it's good to know that that's right here locally.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And
For every budget.
exactly, for every budget, because we can hit, you lose certain things at different price points. And most of that is either in box quality or design concepts. At the low end, you get 4 choices. At the high end, you get thousands by the time you combine it all.
Right.
And it just depends on what's important to everybody, what it is, what's worth
Well, and I
spending
think
money
that's
on.
important when someone comes to you too, is what's your budget? So kind of have that figured before you walk through the door of,
It's funny, and I don't know how you guys deal with that in realty. Well, you kind of have to. I mean, you can't show somebody a $500,000 house
No.
when they have $200,000 to spend.
That's right. Because
Yep.
they're going to fall in love with that 500,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of course, you're going
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But people get a little bit apprehensive when you start asking them about budgets, and it's not a sales gimmick. It's literally trying to get people,
Yeah.
to the right place the fastest,
Right.
exactly.
and not be dancing around with this,
Yeah.
huge champagne style,
Yeah.
because you will fall in love with it, and then you'll be crushed when you can't.
Right.
And then it's my
Right.
fault
Come to
when I say
fruition.
no.
Right.
Exactly.
Or
exactly.
you do qualify for the 500,000, but you only want to spend the 200,000.
Correct. And never judge a book walking in, but you're right. I mean,
They might be like, I can do whatever, but I'd rather you have
in
something
this
that's 99
market.
cents a tile.
well, it's so funny. The wealthiest person that I've probably ever worked with, and it was a gentleman I wouldn't say the wealthiest, but he had these biggest coverall, long bearded, hippie looking guy, and owns a big, multi-million-dollar home in the sanctuary. And I remember him, we got to be fairly close over the course of the project, and he goes, I'm just glad you weren't like the appliance folks that showed up. There wasn't anyone locally, just to let you know that.
Okay.
But he goes, I answered the door and they asked me to find the owner of the house because they didn't want to deal with the help.
Oh,
I was like, well, then
Yeah,
there's
you
probably a
can
little
just
customer
load those
service
appliances
training
back
there.
up.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's pretty much
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
But
wow.
yeah, I was like, oh, that was an interesting way to go.
Gosh.
Especially in our area,
Yeah.
ranchers and
Oh,
some of the
yeah.
ranchers around here have
Oh, yeah.
more land than everything else. And if you
That's
look at
right.
somebody in coveralls and make
That's
this
right.
judgment,
Yeah.
Don't budge.
Yeah.
you should probably be in a different profession,
Yeah.
actually, if
Exactly.
you're going to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can think of a couple of people that just dress like a normal, like Mr. Waltrip. I remember he would come in the parts store. My dad owned the parts store in Hayden when I was a kid, and he would just look like a regular old rancher guy, And same thing with Dr. Ilko. Dr. John, when he would come in, he'd come to my dad's parts store in Hayden, and he looked like this ratty old rancher. He'd have, wouldn't have his beard all fixed up, and he'd have some ratty hat on and everything. First couple times he came in, he'd leave, and I'd say to my dad, "Who is that again?" And my dad would be like, "That's Dr. John." And I'm like, "No, it's not," because it just didn't look like him, but he was just a regular,
person.
Yeah, just a regular guy
And that's
out.
what makes people so endearing, is they're just,
Well, and none of us are going to wear our, scrubs to
Yeah.
go work on our fence outside. you know.
No.
Exactly.
I'm probably going to show up at the hardware store in a tank
Yeah.
top and some dirty old paint covered shorts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not a very super wealthy man, but
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely don't look one when I show up at the hardware store.
That's right.
That's funny.
So what else with flooring do we need to know that we didn't cover?
Oh,
Or not just flooring in general, but what your company provides, as far as to the remodel process or things that people should think of.
we've been, a lot of times people end at floor covering. And to a degree I get that. I mean, it is one of the last processes that goes into a house. But people should really get budgets on everything to begin with, because I've seen so many folks end up disappointed because they've reached the end of that budget on a project, and they upgraded their windows and they upgraded their foundation structure, and
Right.
and then they end up with that beer budget once again gets spread out so thin.
Because they're into the
Yep,
project
yep.
and they're like, okay, we'll just throw something in.
So, we do this, again, $500,000 home or something like that.
right.
And they end up with this uber cheap carpet, inexpensive carpet,
Yeah.
that they hate. And
Well, and don't you think it helps you to come into the home and be like,
oh, absolutely.
this is what we're doing. Here's budget. What do you suggest? And you can kind of say,
Like the
okay,
Start guiding that.
Design,
yeah,
Well,
design a
that's-
house around this.
That's true. People do find some very interesting things to be like, I love this. Let's figure it out from there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that
Yeah.
might be a faucet. That
Yeah.
might be a landscape. It might be a color of a blouse. I mean, I've seen cats pick out carpet colors for people before. That was interesting.
A cat was
A cat.
picking at?
Yeah.
Okay.
They found it more comfortable than the other style they were looking at. So,
So they're like, well, then that's the one we want.
yeah. I think it was a joke, but I'm not entirely.
Okay, so I could
Yeah,
kind of
but
laugh
you
at that, but I could
can't.
totally see Gunnar doing that.
Right.
Like if Gunnar liked, I'd be like, okay, Oscar, that's the one we need because Gunnar likes it. Yeah.
But the other thing too, talking about that
He's like,
construction
"Oh,
process.
okay, well,
Kevin's like, Sandra is crazy.
Oh, not as crazy as I am. We all got a little crazy in
That's
us.
right, we do.
Exactly.
That's why we're
exactly.
friends.
Exactly. But and we all work so well together.
Yeah, we do.
But we also, my dad, him and I go back and forth constantly. But I love him dearly. He's been in this industry he started installing at 13 years old. He's 65 now.
Wow.
And literally been in floor covering from that point forward. We've been in construction. I mean, my degrees are in construction management and real estate. At one point in time, I also wanted to be a realtor.
I
so that was
remember, yeah.
that was a part of my
Yeah.
thing too. I don't have time for that now.
Right.
I have a lot more appreciation for your hours and.
but see how it tied us all.
Oh yeah, but
You
it
know
ties
what
it
I
brings us all
mean?
together.
Yeah.
They teach us that in school, grade school teamwork, and I
Yeah.
think that's get lost sometimes.
Yes.
It does.
And I think as adults, we need to teamwork.
Yeah,
We have to have
absolutely.
You need to put down your little card and all teamwork.
Especially
because
in a small town like this where everybody does know everybody, and
Yeah.
quite frankly, we kind of need each other
We
Yeah.
do.
to be successful and to
That's
grow
right.
and to deal with the economic problems that are unique to our town and county. So yeah, by working in a group together, plus it creates more opportunities for everybody.
Exactly.
and friendship and connections.
Yes, and it helps me to learn more about real estate. It helps you to learn more about floor covering.
Exactly.
Exactly. So then we're not like, hey, can you stick a floor in a house tomorrow?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Whoops. I didn't think that through.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
people probably don't want me to frame their house for them, physically.
Right.
But I know enough about it to
Right.
offer pieces of advice and,
Right.
Or, hey, call this person.
Exactly. Or actually, that's how we ended up in this construction side of things. Is I've had a couple different very good customers and very good friends at this point too that are like, we don't know how to do any of this, and we know that you know people, so could you do it? Like, not really my main wheelhouse, but
Yeah.
sure, why
Let me
not?
call somebody. Yeah.
Exactly. Let me make a
Yeah.
couple phone calls and
Yeah.
it's gained more respect for general contractors too, because there's always that one person that doesn't ever show up when they say they're going to.
That's right. You learn who to
Trust.
call.
Who to trust
Yeah.
and who to deal with it, and that's thankfully everybody in Craig, or I wouldn't say everybody, but most people are pretty busy, especially in the trades.
They are.
But there's a lot of just, very small one-man operations that don't want to be bigger than that.
That's right.
So that's actually how we've been successful in that, is knowing those people, bringing them together under one umbrella and letting them do what they do best.
Right.
And just kind of,
Don't need to micromanage.
Exactly. Don't need to micromanage them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these guys that have been building decks know a lot more about building a deck than what I do.
Right.
Or about putting in cabinets than what
Right.
I do. The fine details and the intricacies of it.
Right.
So I've always been good at my dad, like to have his hands a little bit more in everything, but
Yeah.
I actually prefer to be able to stand back, trust the people that I'm with,
Yeah.
to do what they do and do it well.
That's good.
That's good. That makes a good leader.
Well, thank you.
It does. So what's the one thing, speaking of leadership, what's the one thing that you do every day when you either first get up or after you've had your coffee that sets yourself for success for the day? What's your habit?
There's going to be one pretty cliche thing, and this has been in the past year, I make a to-do list every single night before I leave work. That's actually my nightly routine. And when I show up, that literally drives how my day is going to go.
Gotcha.
And you can read about it in every, business book or self-help book or whatever you
Right.
want to and laugh at it. But I swear to God, checking that, check your emails. Well,
Yep.
I'm going to walk in and check my emails regardless, but I've checked it off now. So I'm therefore working in a positive direction.
That's right.
Yep.
And this might be too woo from Moffat County, but I've actually started meditating daily in the mornings. And that's another thing that really helps me ground myself kind of and go in with a
Have
little
that
bit more of an
moment.
open mind.
Exactly.
I was probably guilty, and I'm sure a lot of us are, of, wake up at 7:30, quick shower,
Yep.
get to work, and then I'm
Stressed.
Behind
You're
the eight
stressed
ball.
before you're
exactly
stressed.
Yep.
stressed before you even have the opportunity to show up and do anything productive.
Yep.
So that's been huge for me. That's something I hope to continue. And then I guess the only other thing I'd offer there, being in management and ownership of a company and working with a lot of different people, is, and all of this kind of adds to it, but showing up with that attitude. If I don't show up with a smile on my face, then it's probably going to drive everybody else's day down the
Right.
tubes.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
not going
right.
to say I haven't had those days, because we have.
Action.
We all do.
We do.
But I can almost always tell that the way that I start the day is how everyone's going to start their day. So it saved me a lot of frustrations to realize that fact.
Right.
And sometimes it's forced, but my people will not have a bad attitude for me starting their day out at least as often as I possibly can.
That's awesome.
What about that? I'd kind of like to know from you guys too. Like, do you have any?
So I have always done like a to-do list at night, but once I get home. And so, I either am listening to a podcast or Parker's listening to something and telling me, I should try this or that. And the one thing was write it down before I leave the office. So I started doing that several months ago. I make a to-do list of everything I need to do the next morning. And then just here in the last several weeks, I have started meditation and gotten back into yoga. I used to do yoga a lot in the mornings, and I got away from that. I mean, years ago when Parker was little, I did yoga. And now I'm like, I don't have time for it. I got to get going. I've got to. And I was always really bad about getting up in the morning. Like, I finally dragged myself out of bed just enough time to get breakfast organized and get out the door. And I decided, okay, I'm going to start getting up earlier. Now, Parker does like 5 a.m., but I am not one of those people. But I am like 6 or 6:30 now, just in these last several weeks, that I'm awake by myself without having to wait for the alarm to go off.
Right.
Then I get up and I start meditation, and then I do some yoga. Then I go outside with Gunner, and it just changes the whole attitude. I notice I don't pull in the parking lot at breakneck speed, jump out and come in, and I'm like, okay, we've got to, so it's today we're going to. It just really kind of slows everything down to where you're thinking, okay, this is how this is going to go. And there's always those things that pop up during the day that,
for sure.
I'm cussing and carrying on and whatever, but it does really help keep things calmer for me to where I don't have chest pains by
we
11.
know each other well enough to where we have the ability to be semi-high-strung people.
We are,
So that, really, that reactionary side of me can calm down, and it's good in all areas of life. I've noticed it probably the most with parenting. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Talk to
I do want to kill you, but I'm
Yeah.
trying hard not to want to right now.
Yeah.
Just
And then
go
we can
sit
have a
down.
reasonable conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I haven't mastered that art yet, but slowly but surely we're
Yeah.
making headway.
Yeah. You do. You do.
And I gave Sandra a silent high five during the whole meditation thing because I already got yelled at for making noise with my hands. So nice job, Sandra.
Thank you.
Glad I'm not the only one.
That's right. People think it's funny, but it is really calming and just really, your brain of thinking of nothing for however many minutes or hours or whatever. Some people certainly do it for hours, but I think about the most I can do it right now is like 15, 20 minutes.
Yep, and
then my brain starts working again,
Yep.
even though, because it's really hard for me. I really have to focus on no thoughts. And it is, if more people would try it, it is more relaxing.
Well, it's funny because when I started, we're so far off the flooring topic, that's awesome. But when I first started, I was getting so frustrated with myself because my mind would, like, oh, cool, I got, to the count of 1.
Yeah.
And before I,
Whoa.
like, oh my God, this is a little, to realize that it's not the actual act of having a silent mind, it's the act of silencing your mind
Yes.
after the thoughts come in. And that's where the actual effort and growth comes from what I've learned. I'm
That's
not
correct.
an expert.
Yeah, I feel that way too. Yeah.
But I highly recommend it to anybody listening out there.
I agree. Whether it's too woo-woo for you or not, just try it.
Exactly. Just try it. Give it a month. But same thing. Early mornings are a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't start your day right, it's just.
Yeah, and I was always like an 8 o'clock person or whatever, and to think that now 6 or 6:30 I wake up sometime between 6 or 6:30
Yep. And that's my same
on my
schedule.
own. It's huge. It's huge. So, yeah.
And there's something to getting kids ready in the morning and.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person.
I'm not either by any means.
But my mornings start with, that's kind of like Kyle and I's time.
Right.
Because we're so busy, so that's in the morning is when we have coffee and we just, what are you doing? How are you? What's going on?
Nice.
What needs done? And then it's weird, like people ask me all the time, because my drive every day is 35, 40
Oh
40
yeah,
minutes.
that's true. You have a long.
But like I actually have came to really appreciate that time.
Yeah.
Because I self-reflect in that time. Every day, the kids and I count and we say at least 10 blessings.
Oh, good for
On
you.
the
That's awesome.
way to town. Today, my daughter, it was Uncle Casey, Uncle Miles, the Hunters. Like, it was pretty.
Miles is getting a blessing? Do they know Miles? No, I'm just kidding.
It was pretty
Just
funny.
kidding, I love you, Miles. Been my friend for a long time.
Yeah.
It's good to see what's also on their minds and what's,
Oh, for sure.
So that's kind of our routine every morning.
That's actually, a good way to get some information out of your kids, too, and what they're thinking about.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
their blessings. I asked Chase and he said, nothing. And I was like, nothing? Really? He said, maybe Clay. That's his horse. And I was like, he's 2. And I'm like, okay, well, at least we got one thing on the list.
Thankful for nothing but my horse.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not happy to be here right now.
That's right. That's pretty much, Well, thanks a million, Kevin, for being here today, and especially for being on our 10th episode.
Actually, before you close out,
Yes.
you said that you had some information about the new housing market that you hadn't shared with me.
No, I think that was a sneak peek.
That's a sneak peek. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We aren't at liberty to disclose it at
Okay.
this point in time, but it will be on the podcast here before too long.
Well, now I'm pretty excited. I would love to hear about that.
Yes, we are pretty excited as well. We will have a guest here that will be breaking the announcement.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, this was really fun, guys, and you were right.
Awesome.
You made it super easy on me, and I'm
Good.
Thanks.
not
That's
nearly
good.
as stressed out as I started the whole thing.
Good. That's what we want. That's what we want. There's vodka in your cup, but nobody needs to know
Right,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Don't tell
exactly.
anybody
I
that.
slipped you a little.
That's why I feel so much better already.
That's right.
Simple things.
Meditation today. Yeah.
Wow. I really appreciate you guys letting me on the show, too, and letting
Come back
me
anytime.
talk about myself and our company. And
We appreciate all you do for us. And
Thank you.
For our customers.
Well, and I do want people to know that we're in this together, and this community. I mean, we do own a business. We have to have business to stay that way, but we truly care about the community.
That's right.
And we want to see it thrive. We want to see it grow. We want everyone to be able to buy a new home.
That's right.
I hope everybody's driving new trucks and
Yeah.
Enjoying life.
Enjoying life.
Enjoying
yeah.
life.
Exactly.
To have the money to build the things that we want and
That's right.
do that. And I think if there's an attitude change, is probably I think that's the biggest sickness that ever arises here.
That's
is
right.
an attitude.
That's exactly. Yep.
So
Being more
go
positive.
have fun, be happy, be positive.
Enjoy the little things.
Yeah,
That's right.
meditate.
That's right. Yes. Well, and we appreciate the partnership we have with you for our
Yes.
sellers, offering that $500. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And we like that it stays with the home because we've had questions where another realtor has brought the buyer and they said, so they don't get that, right? No, they absolutely get that. It stays with that property.
That gives us a loophole to
Yeah.
get right in there to where it isn't
Yeah.
in the contractor's name. Like,
Yeah.
a warranty for the contractor is really going to do a lot of good,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
or the realtor or whoever, the previous homeowner.
Yeah.
So that is actually a big deal and one that I don't push probably enough from a warranty side of things.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
Well, cool. Thanks,
Thank
Sandra.
you.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Casey. That was a lot of
perfect.
fun.
Thank you.
See?
Cool.
Maybe I'll be on the 100th episode.
Let's do
There
it.
you go. Let's
Right?
do. Heard it here first. You're going to be on the 100th
You only got
episode.
90 weeks
Sweet.
to practice.
Hey, we'll just keep on adding zeros. I've got this down now. As long as there's vodka, iced tea in my cup.
Yeah, that's no problem at all.
I think we're ready to rock and roll.
We're good.
So you still need to get Kyle to come out for hockey.
I will.
I'll teach Parker too if he wants to come play.
Yeah. Well,
was
he'd
so
have a little bit of commute,
funny.
but he does skate and he loves hockey. He does play hockey.
That's
Used to
true. He does play
when he was
hockey.
little.
Yeah, he's younger than
Yeah.
me, so we didn't play
I don't
much
remember
together.
what even you guys were talking about, but Kyle came home and he's like, I just want you to know I'm taking some lessons. And I was like, I'm going to do some hockey. And I was like, okay.
Was
Yeah.
it totally clear, or was there like maybe a little bit of slurring?
There's a lot of stuff.
Okay. That's. I think when I offered private lessons, there was some too.
That's awesome. Wait, did we want that on camera or not?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want. That's
kill
my
me.
shout out for the hockey program. We're growing again. Please get everyone you can to join.
Okay.
I'm coaching the little tiny kids, so
Okay.
We'll get him in there.
we'll have fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
All right.
Good.
So now we cut.
We'd like to give a big shout out to E&L Signs for being our sponsor of this podcast. E&L Signs serves Western Colorado and Eastern Utah for all your screen printing and vehicle lettering needs. With over 30 years experience, Ed Moore will get it done for you. So remember, E&L Signs.
If you like what you hear, please take time to review us on Apple Podcasts and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Also, if you'd like to be on the podcast, let us know, or if you have someone you would like us to feature, let us know that as well.